Being triggered by anything and everything is ruining your life. I noticed something that's really bothering me. I feel like I always ending up in situations that set me off. It got me thinking, why does this keep happening to me? And I feel like that almost become my excuse to be back to my wound, so I can get comfortable and have an excuse to do nothing again. Then I started to dig a bit deeper into myself, trying to figure out what leads to those triggers and how I react to them. It's been kind of like playing detective with my own emotions, really seeing what set me off and how I handle it. Sometimes it's situation not even because of others doing me wrong. It's my natural reaction. Maybe it's the tweets that I come across that reflect my own ego, highlighting that the truth about my procrastination. Since I'm still procrastinating, I find it frustrating to see any reminders of it. Or seeing someone's Instagram story where they're doing things that I wish I could be doing makes me feel like I'm not doing enough, or I'm not enough, or instantly I'm a failure. Because how come he or she can enjoy that and I'm still so far away from it? It's still some self-hate. Sometimes being triggered doesn't require someone else did something wrong to you. Yourself often triggered by your own ego. I don't know if any of these scenarios are familiar with you. If you have any situations similar to this, I hope I can see your comment down below. Well, many times when those emotions are too strong, then we pick up the phone, open a message, and share those feelings with others. Or we feel shame, anger, irritation, and frustration to a point that we forget what we are currently doing. For example, you might be chilling on your sofa, trying to relax and get some rest, watching educational-based YouTube videos, trying to learn something. But that message disturbs your mind and leads you to feeling these feelings you were planning to minimize, those trigger feelings. The aftermath is, after you get triggered enough time, you might lose your direction and drown in these negative emotions over and over again. And one reaction leads to another leads to another, overlapping non-stop. You can't help talk about it or vent your frustration. Well, to cure something, we must know what it is first. Triggered. Being triggered. An emotional spark, intense, overwhelming wave ignited by a word, memory, or moment that resonates deeply within. It's something that has happened before, but you can't help yourself from diving into it again. Today we're going to discuss how you can regain your power by recognizing the moment you are triggered and understanding a clear process for moving from a trigger state back to a neutral state. Lastly, I will teach you a fundamental concept that you can use to remind yourself every time you feel triggered, bothered, and not feeling like yourself. So let's get into it. So the goal is realizing that you have been triggered, then you are able to gain back your power. To the matter of what you don't like, you'll be able to call it a wrap. Get back on track and keep your life moving smoothly, knowing that we shouldn't be feeding matters that we don't appreciate. In my little observation, realization is very important. Realizing you have been triggered is the only way you can regain control and power over your reaction. Let's say a fisherman, if he doesn't realize his fishing line has been tugged by a fish, how can he grab the fishing rod and reel in his catch? They immerse themselves in their emotional reaction. They might even believe that such reactions are natural because they have felt this way for centuries. By recognizing the moment of being triggered, we can begin to take steps to manage our response rather than letting them overwhelm us. Then, how can we realize that we've been triggered? For my own experience, to remember those times that I was triggered, it can be categorized into two ways: physical and emotional. You know those times when your heart starts racing out of nowhere and you can't seem to breathe right? Or maybe you suddenly start sweating or feeling super hot, like you're overheating for no reason. That's just your body kicking into fight-to-fight mode. It might even make you feel a bit queasy or dizzy. And then there are the emotion, anger or sadness hitting you like sea wave, just slam into you, way more intense than what the situation called for. It's like your emotions are taking over and suddenly you can't see things clearly. You might even pressure yourself with thoughts like, if I cannot handle this time, everything will fall apart. Yes, you got triggered again. It's like your body and mind always get hits. No matter how many times you try to stand up, they knock you over again. Where eventually leads to, this always happen, or I can't even get this right kind of thoughts, keeping you in the loop of failure. Identifying and recognizing different type of triggers is the next step. Triggers that are caused by trauma. In these kind of situations, I encourage you to babysit yourself. Take a moment to comfort yourself. Remind yourself it's okay, you're here now, and what happened before can't hurt you anymore. You have grown beyond these moments. These hurtful words and actions, they have lost their power long ago. They are invalid, expire, or not even inside a club. You are stronger now. Second, we have triggers that caused by validation. In these kind of situations, I need you to be the big sister, big brothers, or the wisdom grandma, grandpa for yourself. These are the triggers that you might even find entertaining sometimes. For instance, your ex texts you back asking you what's up. Before you even do anything about the text, you already screenshot it and send it to your friends. That's your most common routine with your besties, isn't it? Did you realize you've been triggered here? No? Oh, you need to pay attention. These are the moments when the matter is much more minor, but based on the past routine, you might as well just go on with it. It still counts as triggers, because in the subconscious mind, you want to prove that you were right in whatever past event, such as he cheated on me, now he's texting me, he felt guilty, I was right, etc., etc. Many of these validation trigger situations does not require any reaction from you. You should quietly go on with your life. Instead, maybe due to some kind of wanting to prove yourself as victim, wanted to be right, that cause you go back and react to it. Does it worth it? Is the ultimate question to these kind of situations. And third, self-triggers. This is the kind of trigger I talk about in the beginning of the video. No obvious event, but it came from your own mind. I want you to be able to stop yourself and say,
wait a minute, hold on.
Yes, wait a minute, hold on. What am I doing here? You need to wait a minute and reflect it on yourself. Ask yourself, why this kind of event can trigger me? Why am I only looking at what other has and what I don't have, instead of knowing and being happy that if other can have it, I can have it too? Are you triggered, feeling angry, upset, frustrated because you know deep down you weren't doing what you're supposed to do, therefore you weren't there yet? As an add-on, not only you are not in the right track of getting what you want, but you are spending your time getting triggered and further frozen yourself. But it's okay. If you didn't realize that before, now you do. Always catch that shady side of mine and
Hold on.
it. Let you regain your power over your mind. Tell it what to do, not let it dedicate how you feel. And here are things you can do to stabilize yourself. Mind control. Telling yourself, remind yourself, be clear with yourself. Sometimes when you get triggered, it was your ego that was triggered. Your ego and your brain trying to stop you from getting into a new path. Be clear and tell yourself, I know what's happening. I know you are feeling like this because XXX amount of reason. But this time, I don't need to beat a dead horse. It's the past. It's not the same anymore. I have the ability to control the situation. I can handle it. I choose not to dive in it. Catch it so sharp when something went wrong. Wait a minute. And physically, you can do deep breath. Longer your breath. Like this doesn't require you to have any specific environment. Just purposely longer your breath can make a big difference. Loosen your body a little bit. Shake your hand. Tap, tap. Relax. Now, we are going to talk about the ultimate mindset. In quantum physics, it says that everything, including our body, our mind, our thoughts, is made out of particles that are constantly vibrating at different frequencies. These vibrations help distinguish one type of form from another type of form, such as water, ice, and steam is just H2O in different vibration. Particles of the same frequency tend to attract each other. This is where the law of attraction comes into play. It suggests that like attract likes. So if you are thinking positive thoughts, you are sending out high frequency vibration that attract more high energy experience and people into your life. Conversely, negative thoughts emit lower vibration and might attract negative matters. Now, knowing that giving attention is feeding it. Knowing that giving attention is feeding it. Knowing that giving attention is feeding it. By recognizing this, you will understand why you wouldn't want to pay more attention to something undesirable. If you don't like it, drop it. If you apply this concept into your trigger, it's like realize, identify, drop it. Does being right matters? Does it matters now? You need to know from the bottom of your heart, it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. I can't believe he or she said that to me. Okay, he said that to you. Is that the truth? Or do you know the truth? That's all. If you know the truth, you wouldn't care about what others says. Does what he says change any fact of the truth? Does anything he said change the matter of the truth? If not, then it doesn't matter. Yes, you're right. He's wrong. But what's the following? There's none, because it doesn't matter. These kind of trigger or reaction is a distraction. Being right in these situations you don't even like, it's a distraction. I know it feels good, but when you step back to see the big picture, it's just a distraction. I'm here talking about those triggers randomly appears in your life, not the one that in the office or other situation where you're able to be right and get an outcome. Such as discussing a topic in a meeting, proving yourself right can be an add-on and prove to your ability and etc. Energy is power. Once you put your energy towards something, that thing will become stronger. Your anger, your frustration, desperation on other validation, people agrees that you're right. It's all feeding the fact that the person who did something bad to you. But the one thing you can do is stop feeding it and starve it to death. Stop feeding the thing that you don't like and hand it over to show other people. Shift your attention back to what you should do, what you are doing, and what's really matter to you. Your dreams, your financial situation, your schoolwork, your relationship, and your hobby, etc. Gently help yourself get back on track, knowing that you don't need to pay attention to what you don't like. You get the big picture of what's happening. If it doesn't require you to react, don't. I mean, if someone says something offended you, if it doesn't require you to do anything about it, just leave it. You will know what's worth to fix, what's not. And deep down, you also know which reaction is count as you trying to hop on for validation, sympathy, agreement, which reaction is just you craving attention. After all, don't be afraid to fall back into emotional black hole. Being triggered is natural. The realization of being triggered is where you can gain back your power. Only feed what you want to grow. You can handle yourself more and more steady. Eventually, you won't feel anything. Believe in it. You can do it.